What's up, everybody? You're watching Straight Facts with Ritchie and Ciro. I'm Ciro with my boy,
Ritchie.
Let's get straight into the facts, Ritchie. Start it off for us.
Alright, so we're starting off with Monday's Hoophall, and beginning with Meek Eachern, Georgia, defeating Rancho Christian, California, 66-55. Sharif Cooper leading the way with 27 points, along with Allen Breed's 20.
Well, I mean, that was a good game to watch. We barely got to really see it, but I mean, McCarran's a heavily, it's just a really speculated school, really big into high school, so I've watched a lot of their highlights. And overall, good game. What was the next game after that?
Next game was Montverde Academy defeating Sierra Canyon from California, 77-58. Harlan Beverly leading the way with 22 points. And as for California, they have Kenyon Martin Jr. and Scottie Pippen Jr. They both had tough games shooting the ball.
Well, Scottie Pippen Jr. looked pretty good. Kenyon Martin Jr., he's kind of inconsistent when it comes to his game. And yesterday I had a huge dunk. I was watching the highlights. He's good, but I think that just Sierra Canyon compared to Montverde, any school compared to Montverde is so balanced.
And they went undefeated last year, 35-0.
They can do anything. I mean, they've produced so much talent. Ben Simmons, D'Angelo Russell, R.J. Barrett. It's like they just don't stop, and no matter what, they just keep being a powerhouse team, just like IMG. They're that team that you just don't want to go against, no matter who it is.
And there's really no weakness with them either.
No, there isn't. It's so, like we
their second
mentioned.
unit is just as good as the first.
Like we mentioned, they are just so, their players are so decent that it fits. Everybody is
and they're just
so
bigger than
good.
everybody too.
Sanua, what was he in the first game where he got the MVP? It was 14 and 10. Was it?
He had a double.
So simple.
And he was their leading scorer. That's the crazy thing. Scoring so balanced.
14, 10, 10, 10, 8, 6.
It's
pretty balanced. I mean, off the bench, they got the big 7-footer Balsa, and
he had 18 points.
Yeah, I mean that's solid. Well. That's really solid, and like we mentioned, a very entertaining game. Just because both teams had the intensity, but Montverde just way better.
No question. Next one here is Lally-Muir, Indiana, over DeMatha Catholic from Maryland, 73-50, and for Indiana, it was Keon Brooks leading the way with 24 points and 8 rebounds. Wendell Green, your boy, adding 21 points.
He was nasty. I mean, that guy was looking really good, and I think that Brooks and Green's performances really took the pressure off of Isaiah Stewart, who the night before announced that he was going to Washington, and really a really big guy, top player in the country, was on the side for a while, and then that game just.
He had a tough shooting night, but he did put up 14 points.
Lally-Muir, really a good team, and same with DeMatha. DeMatha also very good.
DeMatha's always going
Markel Fultz.
They're really good.
A really good team, but just what's their big man's name? Did you get that?
No, I'm not sure. I know Justin Moore, who is one of the top players, the guys to look at. He had 21 points. He played well.
They've always been good, but really. Isaiah Stewart didn't look at what I wanted to see. Kind of reminded me of Khalil Whitney's performance. I really wanted to see a lot from him, and not that much. And like I said, with Isaiah Stewart, could have been better, but Wendell Green and Brooks really showed up, and awesome performance for both teams, and entertaining before we got to see Central play.
Yep, and Central beat East Hartford, Connecticut, 70-46, and Hassan Ward leading the way. What a game he had. Taking a look at these numbers, 20 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 7 block shots.
Yeah,
just
that is ridiculous. I mean, Hassan Ward, absolute monster, big guy who's finally able to he's developed in such a great player over the years. He's got a 3-point shot. He can use that body, get the good defense, and of course just dominate in the paint. And that's what you want to see from the big man in Hassan Ward. And honestly, an upsetting performance from East Hartford. I was expecting a little more.
That was really
Central really just strolled through that, especially just starting off. It wasn't 2 quarters and we were like, okay, yeah, Central's got that. I'd say 7 minutes and we were like, oh
yeah, I mean,
Central's got it.
No question. They kind of came back a little bit in the third quarter. I believe they got it down to 14 or 15 points, but just after that, Central pulled away once again, and there was no question they were going to pick up the victory. Yeah. Which also snapped the 2-game losing streak they were on, so hopefully they can get back to it.
For sure. Well, we've talked about Hoophall, and sadly, thinking of it, it's the last time that you'll be here. Let's talk about Hoophall for a while, forever. We're done talking about Hoophall for now, and that was a great, 4-day just a lot of fun to experience. And now that that's done, we talked about that high school hoop. We're going to go to the NBA now.
And starting off here with the Wizards over the Magic, 95-91. Bradley Beal putting up 27 points, knocking down 5 out of his 7 3-point shots. Jeff Green, a huge part of this victory as well. He had 24 points, 6 rebounds, knocked down 6 out of his 9 3-point attempts, had the go-ahead finger roll layup.
Well, with the Wizards, obviously they've experienced a lot of trouble. Losing John Wall early on in the season to that awful season-ending heel injury. And honestly, I pay attention to the Wizards a lot just because, you know, Hawks-Wizards, same division. That's always been a big rivalry. And One of my good friends is a really big Wizards fan, so we always got to, like, talk about it. And I'm impressed because once Wall went down, they were at the 10 seed for a long time.
It's like they stepped up. Like, all the players stepped up.
Well, sorry, they not the 10 seed. I meant, like, the other. They were at the 13th seed while the Hawks were at the 12, and it was crazy, really. I mean, the Wizards were playing awful. And they were looking like one of the worst teams, and they've stepped up big time. Beal especially. He's had some career, like just
Trevor Ariza started to play well.
I mean, speaking of Trevor Ariza with that trade, that really helped the Wizards.
Yeah, because the Suns, I mean, they're not going anywhere. Oubre has played well, but Phoenix hasn't won many games.
I think that it just stinks that they had to get rid of Oubre because that was obviously a really big part. And I mean, Dwight Howard's mad about that, but Kelly Oubre really a good player, but Trevor Ariza, he's always been the moderate player that you want on your team, especially in Houston last year, and looked good, and now
one
Phoenix,
of the good defenders,
really good player.
Play a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
Yep. Heading over to the next game here, the Heat over the Cavaliers, 100-94. Justice Winslow leading the way once again, 27 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. Hassan Whiteside added a double-double, 14 points, 13 rebounds in the victory.
Officially, I think the best point guard in the league, Justice Winslow. The guy,
he's been playing really well since he's been implemented in the starting lineup.
And
with Goran
I really liked how they were able to. I mean, just like Spoelstra's ability to adapt to pretty much any injury. That's great.
He's done a great job.
Didn't even use Tyler Johnson or nothing. He just said, "Okay, go in there, big guy, play the one," and he's looking good.
Been great.
He's looking really good. I mean, because it's not like Ben Simmons where he has everything but shooting. Justice can shoot. He can shoot. Not great, but he can shoot.
Better than Ben Simmons.
Absolutely. Well, everybody can shoot better than Ben Simmons.
Right. Heading over to the next game now, the battle of the two New York teams, and the Nets picked up the victory over the Knicks, 109-99. The rookie Theo Pinson, 19 points, 8 rebounds.
Crazy.
And on his season, the rookie is only averaging 2.7 points, 1.4 rebounds. Also, Ed Davis recording another double-double, 17 points, 16 boards, extending the Nets' winning streak to 6 games.
Well, the Nets, obviously, a good team. This is going to be a playoff team, really. I mean, I'm looking at it like this. I think the Pacers are really just going to fall apart, obviously losing Oladipo for the season. We could see a lot of big stuff, from Turner and Sabonis and Thad Young and Collison, but I just think that with the Nets, the Celtics, and 76ers continuously picking it up on just good teams in general, especially the Nets. I mean, they're losing Dinwiddie for a month, but that's their 6th man. They can definitely evolve to that, and I saw that Rondae Hollis-Jefferson had a pretty nasty collision yesterday.
Collided heads with, I forget who it was, but it was bad.
It was
he took the bad end of it.
Yeah, for sure. But what I'm trying to say is the Nets, the Celtics, and the 76ers are really going to benefit from Oladipo's season-ending injury, and the Nets are already the 6th seed, and they're just looking good. We already talked about how deloading is just a beast this year.
Yeah, putting up some all-star numbers.
Really, incredible turnaround for him, not just this season, but for his career, because he's had a lot of, he's just been a big game player, and that's it. Yeah. A lot of people don't look at him overall, and now finally this year with I don't know why I keep saying decent, a great season for D'Angelo Russell. Not like just for the breakout
Nets, year for him.
For the Nets, absolutely. But a lot of people are saying that he's a most improved player. Most improved player for me isn't someone that's been in the league for 3 years. Like, same with De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox can't get most improved player because he's only been in the league for 2 years.
Yeah, this is only his 2nd year.
And, most improved player for someone like Siakam.
Yeah, Siakam, this is his 3rd season, 3rd or 4th season.
Yes,
so. And we've seen him progress every year.
He could be an all-star. Yeah, for sure. But I like I said, I really do think that the Nets are going to go up along with the Celtics and 76ers because replacing the third seed Pacers and obviously that awful injury. So Richie, what's next after the Nets? Knicks.
Got the Clippers over the Bulls 106-101, and it was Lou Williams recording his first career triple-double.
I saw that.
14th NBA season.
Crazy. Lou Will with the big game, and Richie and I, we love the guys coming off the bench and playing the key time, and Lou Williams really a
huge.
Beast, man.
31 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Tobias Harris added 29 points on
I love Toby.
10 of 15 shooting from the field as well.
Yeah.
So
well, Tobias Harris really
he's
a great player, really. One of my favorite players. I mean, even in Detroit, he was balling out, and it's good to see him even kind of, like, it just reminds me of that Oladipo-George kind of trade as both teams benefited big time.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I was like, Tobias Harris for Blake Griffin. Clippers got robbed, but Clippers
he's improved every
season. Clippers are in the better end of that
Harris,
trade for sure. Pistons are not going to be in the playoffs, while the Clippers, I mean, looking at it, Clippers, they're the 8th seed right now, and they have the Lakers coming back. That's going to be tough. But they definitely have a bigger chance than the Pistons, just because the Pistons, what we talked about with the Pistons, we'll talk about the Pistons soon, but really overall Clippers are benefiting big from that trade, and Lou Williams stepped up big time.
Yep. Heading over to the next one, the Rockets over the Raptors 121-119, and of course James Harden, another 30-plus point game, 35 points. His shooting numbers were pretty
how was that? Yeah, how was that
9
percentage?
9 of 25 from the field.
What about the 3,
2 of
Richie?
13 from behind the arc.
Now that is just
Now,
awful.
of course, he got at the free throw line.
Yes.
15 times and made all 15 of his shots, but
yes.
I mean,
it's pretty disgusting to think that 35 points off of a 2 for 13, like
it's just
from the field, like that is awful.
You just keep shooting.
And we're not the biggest James Harden fan.
Not at all.
Really, I mean, I don't think that he's not an MVP caliber player.
Oh no.
But I'm just saying, watching him play isn't always like if you watch him play
it's annoying how many foul calls
for hours in a game and you just watch like the whole game, it is not fun to watch really because it's just either he hits
he gets every call
or he doesn't get it. You know, it's kind of like the Bucks announcer when Brook Lopez takes it, wants it, takes it, but instead of makes it, it's misses it. That's every time Harden's at it. Wants it, takes it, misses it.
He bricks it.
Bricks it, yeah.
Bricks it a lot.
Bricks it a lot, and really with Harden, you can look at his highlights and you're like, this guy's a beast. But like I said, you watch the whole game and it just isn't the best. And Rockets though, they take the big win over the team that is the Raptors, the team to beat. Really.
Kawhi Leonard was back in action last night. He played very well, and I saw around night 32 points. They're missing 4 games he missed?
Yes.
So it was good to have him back. Obviously resting because he's soft.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
It's Kawhi. Richie and I always talk about, you know, the baby mentality of the league, you know, and of course Kawhi Leonard diagnosed with the infamous stay home on the couch and watch some TV.
Yep.
You know, that was a really bad disease, but I guess he got over it and got diagnosed with the soft leg, and he's back in action and a great player. Don't get me wrong, but he's soft. He's soft.
He is soft. Heading over to the next game now, the Kings over the Grizzlies 99-96. Buddy Hield leading the way with 26 points. De'Aaron Fox 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists in the victory. That snaps a 2-game losing streak for the Kings and extends the Grizzlies losing streak to 8 games. And they are only 1-12 now in the month of January, now falling like way down with the in the standings. Second to the last team in the Western Conference. After at the beginning of the year they started off first place. That's just
well,
rough.
You know, the 14th seed, not really what they want to be at, and of course they're far from any contention to the playoffs. And where it's with the Lakers as that 9 seed, they are very close, along with the Kings. Looking at that playoff schedule, it could really turn around, but the 8 teams that are in are the 8 teams I would expect. However, you could see the Clippers drop down, or even the Spurs, because the Spurs...
You can see the Lakers make it as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you know, the Spurs just aren't looking too hot, really. The Kings really started off good.
Mm-hmm.
For a team that was easily the worst team in the league last year.
Right.
Well, other than the Hawks, but you know,
we don't
gotta roast my team.
We don't have to talk about that.
We don't gotta roast my team. You know? But what's next, Richie?
Heading over to the next one now. The Mavericks over the Pistons 106-101, and the rookie sensation Luka Doncic putting up some amazing numbers once again.
Oh my goodness.
32 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals.
That's crazy. I mean, But as we go back to it, now we can finally talk about Blake Griffin. The guy's a monster, puts up the points he needs to, but the
Still
team
not
can't
enough.
win.
Yeah.
The team can't win, and that's really, it's like a sorry performance. You feel bad because he's putting up top-notch numbers for an awful team, really.
Yep,
And
35 last night.
That's just,
Still
it
wasn't enough.
stinks, and they definitely, they don't get anything from that. Blake Griffin doesn't get anything from that other than a loss. It's not like they've won and they put up numbers. This is consecutive times where Blake's gone over 30 and just lost big time, and
They've
Luka
lost
stepped
3 out of the
up.
last 4. So
Luka,
they're really struggling.
Luka, he's a monster. He's so fun to watch.
He's just so crafty, so
and
smooth in
he's
his
so
game.
he's so intelligent with everything he does. That's why I like watching him because he knows what's the right move, what he doesn't want. He knows what he's going to do before it even happens, and it just looks so efficient when he does it.
And he's just amazing what he has done. Heading over to the next one though, the Bucks over the Hornets 108-99. Milwaukee down by 11 at the start of the fourth quarter, but they ended up winning the fourth quarter 32-12. The Greek Freak, as they call him, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 34 points on 14 of 21 shooting from the field, along with 14 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocked shots.
Well, that's my MVP right there for you. That's both
Same.
of our MVP. Giannis, the Greek Freak. The guy's so fun to watch, and I just can't wait to see him if he can ever just develop that shot.
And he's
because
improved.
I think
it has improved
that
though.
at the young age that he's at, with the ability that he can do without a shot, he could be one of the greatest
He's scary already.
of all time. One of
he can be.
the greatest players of all time, let alone this generation, and it'd just be ridiculous. And I think that Antetokounmpo is such a great player, and
All around.
It's not like he's a Harden where his team isn't the best. This guy's team is
He got a good.
the best
he
team
has a
in the
good
Eastern
supporting
Conference
cast.
and one of the best teams in the league overall. They hold the second best record for wins next to the Raptors with 36, but they're above them because of the win-loss percentage and the ratio. But overall, the Bucks are looking great, and they haven't really declined. It's not like they started off strong and are looking bad now. Started off strong and looking stronger now.
They've been hot all season.
Absolutely, Richie.
Heading over to the next one, the Nuggets blowing out the Suns.
We even gotta talk about that.
132-95. We can just skip past
Number
that
2
one.
seed, blowing out the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
The most, we talked about this last week, how the Suns have decent players that put up good numbers.
Offensively,
But they just
they're good,
cannot do
they can't slow
anything.
down
They can't
anybody.
stop nothing. They'll allow so many points, but they can combine for good. D Book and
And Devin
Melton
Booker
and
dropped 35
Yeah.
points last night.
they still got blown out.
Yeah, that's
Team does not know how to balance
That's right.
off each other.
and that is their seventh straight loss. So
Richie, what's up next,
I
man?
was gonna go with that. Jazz over the Timberwolves 106-102. Donovan Mitchell leading the way, 24 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists. Rudy Gobert with a double-double. Once again, 18 points, 16 boards, and 4 block shots.
That's ridiculous. Rudy Gobert doesn't have the offensive aspect that he needs, but that defensive ability is always big for Rudy.
And obviously with his wingspan, he can catch
He can
every
get anything,
rebound.
yeah. And I think that if he just dominates the paint more, he could move up on my center list, and really. And with Mitchell being there, the guy,
Donovan
Spida,
Mitchell, baby.
but Mitchell and Gobert, just they work so good together because, Mitchell can do anything on that offensive end. He can dunk, he can drive great, shoot mid-range, and shoot the 3 ball.
Very underrated passer, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now we are heading over to the NBA news since, what was that? When was our last podcast? Monday.
Yeah.
So that day, Carmelo Anthony and Cash got traded to the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
Although he is expected to be waived, and the Lakers have maintained interest in Anthony, but do not want to waive a player to obtain him.
Well, with Melo, the funny thing is the Bulls wanted one thing out of that trade, and it wasn't Melo, it was the cash.
Yeah, they just wanted the Cash.
It was the cash, man. They don't even want young Melo. Melo just wants the cash himself. He doesn't
He doesn't care about
he doesn't-
champions or anything or winning.
he
He just wants the money.
money, man.
And he thinks that he's a starter
No,
or
he's not right now.
a guy who can average
If you
20.
think Melo is worth more than that IT veteran contract, then you're crazy.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Melo is the most negative player to a team that is available that I could name.
He needs to adapt. Like, he's not that post scorer anymore. Like, that's not the way the
NBA is now. He can't do nothing that he can't. It's not like he's Ginobili or any of the older players that were able to, like you said, adapt into what he should be at his age. No, he tries playing the same, and he keeps bricking it. He thinks he's the 25-year-old Melo that was on the Nuggets putting up the big buckets, but no, he's not.
He's just not who he is anymore.
He'll try to do the step back, deep three, brick. Yeah. He'll go 0 for 5 at the 3-point line and just continue to brick it up.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Chipping it up, like Ritchie said.
Chipping it up, yeah. Heading over to the next topic here, the Grizzlies are actively shopping Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, which could mean, the end of the Grizzlies.
They tanking it because Conley's good. I remember we were talking one time about how I think that Conley is finally, obviously not worth that contract he got, but because at one point it was like, what type of, who would give Mike Conley that contract? Now I can see just a little, like he's not as bad as
very underrated point guard.
Absolutely.
But the only thing is he has not been able to stay healthy, so that has been one of the problems. Next topic here, Anthony Davis fears he fractured his left index finger and will see a specialist, likely out 2 to 4 weeks.
Well, with Davis out, obviously big, and then
Nikola
who else
Mirotic
did they miss? Yeah, I was just gonna say
1 to 2 weeks with a calf strain.
Yeah, so that's gonna be tough for them. So the Pelicans lose big front court guys.
And they've been
Randall's gonna have to lead up the way, and I think that the Pelicans they just gotta breathe, man. They gotta get their grip as they are the 13th seed with 22-27 as their record. Not good for the Pelicans, a team that I had a lot of hope in.
They got off to a very good start
weeks ago, and I
too.
really did like them, and I thought that they were a good team, but right now not playing good. And if AD can get back soon and stop, worried about that injury. Well, obviously you can't not worry about it, but it's big.
Yeah.
But it just stinks for them.
Yeah, it does. Heading over to the next one, the Lakers, Magic, and the Knicks have discussed a Dennis Smith Jr. trade.
Which is odd. I mean, obviously Dennis Smith Jr. at the beginning of the year, the Mavericks were, as they said themselves, ready to kind of hand the franchise off to Dennis Smith. That he was the guy. Then Luka shows up. Dennis Smith Jr.'s numbers decline, and now Dennis Smith really isn't happy there, and he's made it obvious that he doesn't really care where he goes. I mean, if he can leave, he'll leave. If he has to stay, he'll stay. But just a lot of confrontation going on between the team and Dennis Smith Jr.
The Hawks have talked with multiple teams about Kent Bazemore, Dwayne Dedmon, and Taurean Prince. Now, Ciro, the Hawks fan, how do you feel about that?
I don't care about, obviously I'm a huge Bazemore guy because he's been on a team for a while, and he's always been big. If we could get something for him, do it. But with Prince, I don't see a lot to get for him because he's a valuable asset, but I don't think that many teams are willing to give up a lot for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, obviously, if I was another team because I watch him every night, I would be like, I would take Taurean Prince for, like, I don't know anyone that we could really fit with Dwayne Dedmon being maybe shipped before, All-Star break, and we could get someone like Tristan Thompson, something simple like that, solid center or big man to replace and work with John Collins, the beast that he is. Gotta love John Collins, my favorite player to watch right now for the Hawks. I mean, and I still love Trae Young. I'm one of the biggest Trae Young fans you'll meet because that guy's just so good and so great to watch. And same with John Collins, big numbers this past week, put up 35 career high, and really just a fun game to watch, and watching that Hawks team kind of click together and get the momentum they need to start winning for sure. I mean, we've seen my big three in Young, Huerter, and John Collins.
Yay.
Not Kent Bazemore because Bazemore's been injured and hasn't stepped up as what I want, because it stinks to see Tim Hardaway when he left. Obviously, we kind of lost that lineup that it was where it was Shooter, Hardaway, and Kent at the 3. So that's when we moved Taurean up, and it really does stink that Bazemore isn't getting the time that he used to get. I mean, he still starts when he's healthy, but I like seeing big Huerter up there shooting the 3. That guy can shoot.
Yeah, he can.
Crazy.
He's been impressive this season.
He really has.
Anyway, heading over to the next topic. Victor Oladipo, in Wednesday night's victory, suffered a ruptured quad tendon in his right knee, will undergo surgery, and miss the remainder of the season, unfortunately.
That's just tough. Oladipo is such a cool guy and honestly a great player. It stinks to see him out for the season for a team that was the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference.
So I don't think they're going to be the 3 seed for very long.
I mean, if you look at the records for other teams, I mean, obviously Wizards 2 games out of the 8th seed, and really, I mean, you could see pretty much like I said, Sixers, Celtics, Nets, big time upgrade.
All those teams can pass.
Really,
pass
really
the
big.
Pacers right there.
I mean, the Sixers are tied with the Pacers, just 2 games behind them on the loss ratio. But now that we got the games out, what's next, Richie? Come on, man.
We have Emmanuel Mudiay out 2 weeks with a shoulder strain, and
Yeah.
not really big news. I mean,
No,
it's just saying that the Knicks season is going from bad to worse.
Bad to worse, yeah.
Yeah. Not
As if
looking
their
good there.
guard situation was any worse than it is now. Oh.
Right. Lakers will look to add a second superstar before the trade deadline, and they're willing to trade Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, or Lonzo Ball.
Well, Lonzo hurt, so I don't see what they can get from that much. I mean,
He's going to be out 4 to 6
obviously,
weeks.
I mean,
with
there's
that
some
ankle sprain.
big Lonzo fans. I like Lonzo, I do, but I don't
Love
think that
Lonzo.
he'd be worth a lot, really. I mean,
No, don't hate on Triple B.
I don't, man. Hey, man, I don't. You think that? Who do you think that the Lakers could get in a superstar for Lonzo Ball?
I don't know.
Other than some big baller brand merch, nothing, man. They're not getting nothing for that. I would not give up Donovan Mitchell. I would not give up Buddy Hield for Lonzo Ball.
They're going to keep him because he's going to be a GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. They should keep him and let him evolve with LeBron. I mean, Kuzma's got. I would trade for Kuzma. That's for sure.
Kuzma's
Because
got some big
it's
trade
not
value.
like he's inconsistent. That guy can ball. He's great. And I think
Brandon
that
Ingram's been really
yeah.
inconsistent. You never know.
Ingram
you never really know
is
what you're gonna get on
inconsistent,
him.
but like
I
the
don't
thing is like his highs are all-star type highs, but his lows are just
Yeah, he's just been really
gain some
inconsistent.
weight. You know, I'll work with you. I'll gain some weight with you, but come on, man, you gotta get big. You're too tall to be the size you are. You gotta start using that body more, man. But
Right.
I think that Ingram and Kuzma are definitely the valuable options in my opinion, because I think that Lonzo working with LeBron can definitely benefit him more than anything, because I can't see him like say it was like just say something stupid like Kyle Lowry going to the Lakers for like Lonzo and some picks. I could see that happening, but I really don't think that that'd be a good trade.
And I think LeBron likes Lonzo.
Yeah,
You know,
he does. He definitely
LeBron
does.
says goes pretty much there.
Yes.
Which tells us some more Laker news. It says LeBron James and his camp have, quote, made it known to the Lakers they would like a coaching change. This was last night I found out about this.
Yes. I mean that's
tough.
for
So Luke
big
Walton's
boy,
career
big
is
boy
over
Luke.
with the Lakers
You know,
because
thanks to
LeBron James.
LeBron
the GM.
James.
So-
You know, thanks to that. But
Probably
and last
it.
night I just saw a little article that Kevin Durant went to the Kevin Durant Center that he promised $10 million throughout his career that would go to it, which was
That's
pretty
awesome.
big for him. And that's obviously good for the community, for Kevin Durant, one of my favorite players of all time, and somebody that finally, after, you know, it's happened, it's said and done, that finally I could be like, you know what,
It doesn't
Why
take
am I
away who he
hating
is
on
as a
him?
person.
he's a great guy, and really, well, in the locker room, he's obviously not the best teammate, I've heard, but
Mhm.
Durant's one of my favorite players of all time, so I'm not gonna, like, I finally just come to the conclusion where it's like, you know what, it's said and done, I can't do nothing about it. He's probably, in my opinion, like, he's my best scorer in the league. Like, just overall score. Because, like,
Because he can score from anywhere, and he's 7
people
feet
don't
tall, so
realize,
it's so hard
like,
to stop him.
best scorer and best player are two different things.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of the all-time best scorers, if you want to put it there. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that real quick, about KD doing something for the community.
That's really cool. Heading over to the dunk contest, and we already have the 4 finalists.
Big boy John!
Miles Bridges, Derek Jones Jr., Dennis Smith Jr., and your boy,
John
John
Collins. There we go. If he wins it, man, I don't think he's going to win it. I can see Dennis Smith Jr. doing it.
So you got Dennis Smith Jr. in this one?
I think I got Dennis Smith Jr., but
I
I,
got-
want John Collins.
I got Derek Jones Jr.
Well, I mean, he's a beast. He's
I
a
seen
beast.
him at Hoophall.
I remember
He was nasty.
he was supposed to do it. Who took his place? Who was it? Somebody took his place. Remember, like, he was in the dunk contest, and the Suns brought up somebody who was
Oh, I'm not sure.
really nasty at dunking.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm not sure.
It was the year that Glenn Robinson won.
Glenn Robinson.
Yeah, or was it Derek Jones that Marquise Chris? No, it was Marquise Chris was supposed
Yeah.
to dunk, and Derek Jones Jr. won in the
Yeah,
dunk contest.
That's what it was.
That's right. Sorry, I got my stuff mixed
It's all
up,
good.
but obviously 2 Suns players who were good at dunking, and then Derek Jones Jr. ended up doing it.
So now we have the East All-Star starters, and Giannis Antetokounmpo was the captain of the Eastern Conference, and he picked out Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Kawhi Leonard, and Joel Embiid.
Nasty.
That's
a pretty tough.
It's a great starting lineup.
Let's see.
The West All-Star starters, Captain
nasty.
LeBron James, Stephen Curry, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Paul George. Now, obviously, these aren't going to be the teams because the guys get the pick, but I mean, those are two really good starting lineups right there.
I would take the West any day.
I wish they would just do it East and West. I mean, this would be a great matchup. Yeah. That would be really fun to watch. Now, we have a little segment here. Me and Ciro doing our top 5 point guards.
So we discussed it, and we found out that our theory is even more correct than we thought. He was like, "You got your 5," and I said my 5, and he was like,
"Bro, that's the same."
That's my 5. So Richie, let him know the 5, and then I'll tell you my order.
All right. So top 5 for me in order, it goes Stephen Curry, Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Russell Westbrook, and Dame Lillard.
All right. So I switched Lillard with Kemba. I mean, it's kind of a little biased just because Dame's my favorite player.
Right.
But I looked at it like this. Damian Lillard and his team, it's not like Damian Lillard's putting up big numbers and his team is losing. Kemba's putting up career highs, game highs, and
Kemba wouldn't be, the Hornets would not be even, they would be the worst team in the league. Conference.
I mean, the second best player to Kemba Walker is Jeremy Lamb.
Right.
How do you say that with a straight face?
And Batum has been really disappointing. Cody Zeller.
Batum since he left Portland, has been a very mediocre player.
Yeah.
And Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, really, same with him. He has not been good since they were the Bobcats.
That funky shot, too.
Yeah. I'm not even going to try that.
I don't know what that is.
But I think that, it's the same as his. It's Curry, Kyrie, I have Lillard, Westbrook, and then Kemba. Kemba is one of my favorite players, too. That's my little saying. Kemba is a top 5 point guard. Guy's a monster.
No question.
And same with, Westbrook, obviously, still a top 5 point guard. Still a top, I'd say, 15 or 10 player, But really just a great player for the Thunder in general, as him and Paul George are dominating, really looking great out there. And
he's had poor shooting numbers, Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, he's had career lows. He's had career lows, but he's still having.
He's still averaging a triple-double.
Yes.
And he leads the league in steals per game.
He's still, even though he's having a career low, people don't understand that this is Russell Westbrook. A career low for Russell Westbrook is a career high for Kyle Lowry.
And he's never really shot the ball at a really high rate.
No, he hasn't. He's known for, like we say, chipping it up out there on the 3-point line. He'll go 2 for 15 or 3 for 19.
24%.
He's not afraid to shoot the 3. That's for sure.
Not at all.
I mean, when Yusuf Nurkic is almost on the same level as you at 3-point shooting, and you're getting into a little.
I think Giannis might be better than him at 3-point shooting.
Yeah, that's just unacceptable. But Curry should be everybody's number 1 point guard, really. I mean.
Yeah, because the thing is, I don't know how, but they're just not as successful without him.
His leadership, man.
They have Kevin Durant.
That chemistry is
Draymond,
big.
Klay Thompson, now
the
Boogie.
Point guard chemistry is one of the most important things in all of sports. The chemistry of the point guard to run the team and run the game in general is always big. And to see him go out weeks, that's tough. The Warriors looked awful without him.
They've barely played 500 basketball without him on the floor. So
and that's not good. But when he's on the court, believe me, Curry lights it up out there. And then Kyrie Irving, Kyrie. What a beast, man. I love Kyrie Irving, and I'm glad to see that. We were talking about it the other day, and impressed me. His passing is really getting up there.
Yep,
he used to be awful at assists, at 5.8 as his best at Cleveland.
It's 6.9, which is a career high for him. So
that's incredible.
7 a game.
That's awesome, and I think that he can get the 7 if he keeps it up. And Horford, that stinks with Horford, and Morris too. Injured, correct? Is he back? Is Morris back?
No, they're both back.
They're both back. Okay.
Everyone's healthy tonight for that Warriors Celtics game.
Well, that's gonna be a big game. So that's our top 5 point guard.
So now we're switching gears, heading over to the NFL. We're gonna be talking about Tom Brady and his toughest opponent yet in the Los Angeles Rams. And Wade Phillips has given him some trouble. Now Brady is 6-3 in his career versus Wade Phillips as a head coach or a defensive coordinator. And he's put up some really good numbers, but the past 2 games he's had struggles. Back in the 2015 AFC title game, he took the loss, and he had a 48.2 completion percentage, which was his second worst in a playoff game, and that was the same with his QB rating of a 56.4. So Wade Phillips may have his number.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like I said, I don't think we can get a solid answer till next week when it's time to really talk about it, because, I mean, we're going to do our, like, as much research as we can, because this might be one of the best Super Bowls.
Yeah, this is going to be really
Yeah.
exciting.
'Cause
I don't know what to expect.
I still think Patriots-Falcons might be the best Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
at least that I've watched. Just
That was probably my favorite.
it's so entertaining. But with this one right here, not only is it going to be entertaining, but I think it's going to be really frustrating to watch as a Patriots fan or a Rams fan, because both teams are giving it all, and these are two excellent players and leading the team, and Goff and Brady. Show us those comparisons between Goff and Brady
It's just,
in the regular season,
it's
in
really
the playoffs.
surprising.
I mean, the regular season, as we look at it, the completions to attempt ratio 375 to 570 for Brady, and Goff's ratio is 364 to
the
561.
numbers are
That
nearly
is almost
identical.
identical in the percentage of 65.8 for Brady over Goff's 64.9.
Yep.
And Goff wins on yards on
pretty good
4,688
margin,
to
but
Brady's
still
43.55.
not bad.
But I mean, it's still within 400 of a difference, and 32 to 29 for the touchdowns, and interceptions 11 to 12. Brady threw a lot of picks this year, which was big for him at least. And
But he still had less than Goff.
yes.
And he was also sacked 12 less times than Goff. Goff was sacked 33 times, Brady 21. But Goff threw more average yards, 8.4 to Brady's 7.6.
It's crazy that just these two really are
It's
going
just weird to see those two guys.
The two best, like, other than, Mahomes out,
Mhm.
two best quarterbacks, that showed up this year, really. I mean,
Right.
obviously Breeze could have done it, but I think we all know that.
I mean, Breeze got robbed. Saints got robbed.
Yeah, we know about that. But, I mean, I've just watched the game a couple times now, and I just think that game was more than that flag. Obviously, the flag was big.
Yeah, it was huge.
We're not going to
but
argue that.
They didn't show up when they really needed to.
OT,
moments.
Breeze throws a pick.
Yeah, because he
That's-
got hammered. But
Pick and OT, regardless, is
huge.
obviously huge for a team that is contending for the Super Bowl.
And for the 2019 playoffs, Brady has Jared Goff beat in everything, but Brady has thrown 90 passes where Goff has only thrown 68.
Which
And
is
the running game has
crazy.
been really successful for
both teams.
For both teams.
And obviously, though, that Rams, C.J. Anderson and Gurley able to run the ball. Gurley will be healthy fully by next week, and that's going to be
hoping,
big. Fully
Because
healthy.
he was very quiet in that NFC
Because he wasn't fully healthy. That's why they had Anderson, in the backfield to kind of direct that offense and help them, because that is a veteran running back who is good, and C.J. Anderson. And now I think that this is going to be one of the best Super Bowls that I've seen in my lifetime, and I honestly can't wait, Richie. So
the final thing we'll go over for episode 3 for the podcast, Warriors versus the Celtics. What is your prediction
I
for
think
tonight?
everyone healthy on the Celtics. They've beaten the Raptors. The C's win this. I think the
You got
C's
the
win
Celtics
this.
I got the Celtics win this, of course. I'm a big
Got the
Celtics
Celtics
fan.
winning this, man.
It's going to be an entertaining game.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
High-scoring matchup.
For sure. I think that this is going to be just... Every time the Warriors play the Celtics, it's one of the best games to watch, just because both teams, even when the Celtics aren't the best, they just put on a great performance, and it's going to be a fun game to watch. So, everybody, talked about the Hoophall Classic, talked about some NBA recap, some trade hearings, talked about the Super Bowl kind of predictions, but really an overlay of who will be in it.
more in depth for
Absolutely.
next
week's going to be the big
week. Was it Tuesday?
Hoophall.
We're doing Tuesday.
Tuesday will probably be some more basketball. But what did we give them? We laid out the straight facts, man.
Yeah, straight
So
facts.
this was episode 3 of Straight Facts with Ritchie and Ciro. I'm Ciro, my boy Ritchie, and that's it.